Welcome everyone to No News is News. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a live show. Make sure you can drop a chat in that YouTube. Right now we got a chat from Dave Vanderbent. Can someone please take Jesse Waters off the air? He is such a pompous idiot. Is Jesse Waters a comedian or a anchor? I've never known that. He was always on Fox News, always wearing a suit, and then they had him like doing vox pops on the street like he was some sort of Tom Green. And then like after that they like gave him his own show. They really like they put him on right after right before Tucker Carlson, and then they had him take over Tucker Carlson's spot after he left. Yeah, Jesse Waters is a weird one. A corporate shill since the day he was born. Most likely. Prove me wrong, you know. Mr. Steven Crowder back with the prove me wrong. And I have to double check that our feed is still going correctly because, again, like I've said before, I am a one-man show here. So before we get started and start the show officially, I do need to make sure that we are good. So, welcome to No News is News. This is the show where we make fun of the news and watch the news and talk about the news because the news isn't really the news. There is no news. No news is news. And I'm your host, Alex R. Wagner. Alex R. Wagner, the better of the Alex Wagners. I'm also slowly starting to realize that the other Alex Wagner is a awful human being, and we should continue to put her down, and we should continue to pump me up, because Alex R. Wagner deserves your praise, where Alex Wagner on MSNBC does not deserve your praise. And with that said, tonight's show is all about one government shutdown. One thing that I've noticed about the government shutdowns that's super annoying is that whenever they do this government shutdown, every anchor, every newscaster, every person on the news, which the news is essentially just this, no news is news anymore. We all are doing the news now. So just people being pompous when they say like, oh, Hill Talk. Oh, I'm just a capital geek. Oh, you know, I just know more about that. Let's draw it back to basics for us all, okay? We have currently three branches of government battling it out, okay? The Supreme Court, which is the fourth branch, they're like, okay? The legislature, which is essentially one branch, it's made up of two. The House, which is Mr. Mike Johnson, and the Senate, which right now is this coon fella. But then the coon fella isn't really in charge because Mr. Chuck Schumer, he's got like he's got more than 40 Democrats, and he's the minority leader. So they have the majority, but they can't get over the finish line. So the three in the negotiation over this government shutdown are Mr. Donald Trump, Mr. Mike Johnson, and Mr. Chuck Schumer. Okay. They're doing a brutal job of Chuck Schumer. They're kind of tearing him apart. They have escaped everything, including this little gag of the gags with the sombrero thing. And then they're leaning in with the whole, like, they're trying to help with illegal health care and shit. I mean, I don't know why they're running so hard. I don't know why they dropped a trailer on the White House about the government shutdown and blaming the Democrats. It's pretty obvious. I mean, 66% of the internet agrees that this is like a bunch of Democrats protesting. Because their answer to why they won't go along is essentially like, well, because we don't like them. And we need things too. And the response from the other side, the Republicans, is like, you're not going to hold us hostage, which, again, like, they're kind of holding you hostage. So we kind of are in a hostage negotiation right now. And if you don't at least, you know, start trying to figure out like some sort of negotiating pattern, we're going to be effed in the behoove. But at the same time, what's any of this matter? This is all just about more spending, which is essentially what the Democrats want, which leads back to what a lot of these Fox News clips were saying on the lead up, if you were watching that, is that Mike Johnson essentially, or that Chuck Schumer has to do this to stave off criticism from AOC, who is trying to get his Senate position. Makes sense. Also, Chuck Schumer, why don't you just retire? Why are you even trying to play this internal battle? It's really weird. Nancy Pelosi gave up in the House. She was like, peace, see you later. Here's this black guy, Hakeem Jeffries. Now they're putting sombreros on him. I don't even know what the sombrero's about. I guess it's because it's illegals. Fox News trying to bait everybody into being like, what, we offended at sombreros? I don't think the sombrero part was the part that they were offended at. But, hey, just thinking. But at the same time, I do like the J.D. Vance response, the official response from the White House of, it's a joke, get the fuck over it. Because we do. We need to get over it if we're going to have a true and honest and hard-fought negotiation over opening the government back up. I will be sad if, very quickly they just decide to open the government back up. But I won't be sad if the reason that they end up quickly over the next 3 to 4 days opening the government back up is because they got 8 Democratic senators to stab Chuck Schumer in the back. That would be crazy. Because all you really need is the middle America ones, the ones with the people that are working at the Parks Department, everybody that works at ICE, everybody that works in the FBI, a lot of highway patrol people, all this stuff. They, judges, they're all having to go to work and not get paid until this is over. So the longer this happens, the more it gets pushed. But something that is true and has been talked about already is the fact that no one is prepared this time. A lot of the time when these things happen, they think they're going to happen very early on, and they're able to kind of amp up the media so that people are aware, kind of like a thunderstorm. Nobody's aware we're already in shutdown. We're already in shutdown, and people ain't acting like shutdown, so I don't even know what acting like shutdown would be because, again, it's crazy. I had a friend of mine, she has an au pair, so she's in the international au pair system, right? They sent out an email being like, okay, this government shutdown, it might mess with things. And it's like, the embassy's still open, we're still open, every state office is still open, everything's still open. It's like, then why are we even sending, just because we fucking listened to NPR this morning? Just because we're involved in this fucking cultural conversation, we have to gossip back and forth each other. Do we learn nothing from COVID? This is how COVID happened. Is that we were all like, oh, well, are you going into work? Well, I'm not going into work. Well, then I guess I shouldn't go into work. Well, we should all not be able to go into work. Lobby, 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 lobby. School's closed, da-da-da. And it all happens. That's how it happens in New York. That's how it happened across the board and throughout the United States. It's how it happens every time. And it's how it happens with the government shutdown, is that now the government is closed. Oh, no. Government is closed. Closed. See you later. But we got 3 men. 3 men at the center of negotiation. Mr. Donald Trump. How does this affect Mr. Donald Trump and the executive branch? Well, first off, and most importantly, a lot of those ICE officers, correct me if I'm wrong, drop it in the chat if you got proof, but from what I have an understanding of, these ICE officers, these other people working in immigration, all this shit, they're being furloughed, which essentially means they continue to work, but they do not get paid until after the shutdown. So I think that it affects Donald Trump day to day. The more days, the harder it gets. Because the more days, the more that the people on his side start to go, hey, wait a minute, you need to figure this out, man. And the problem with this situation in particular is that Donald Trump's side is the side of rational common sense and independent libertarians that voted for him. He got that 2%. Most U.S. elections are only 2% one way or the other. He got that 2% in middle America. It's about 1.5 to 3 million U.S. adults, mostly men, suburban women did show up for Trump in the first election in a massive way versus Hillary, so that was a reflection as well. But these 3 million people in middle America kind of choose shit. I think it's something with the way that we're born and bred. You get a taste of literally everything. You get the introspectives of stuff. I got to see that my family that lives 65 miles away from Chicago had to pay taxes and city taxes and state taxes that for funding things that did not help us. Like why is the bus in Chicago getting money from the state that I give the same amount of the money to the state and I'm living in the middle of nowhere so I don't get anything? That's kind of where it all started. And I think that those people are rational. And they're also hardworking. And they also have to go to work every day. And they need their paychecks. These are the type of people that said they were going to vote for Trump in 2020 because he gave them the stimulus checks. These are the people that are just on the simple terms, they're individual perspective. The political statements left and right, oh, it's their fault, blah, 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 or how does it benefit me politically here, politically there? That's far-fetched. The people that matter for Donald Trump, the base, are the same people that are upset about him about Epstein. And if they can't get paid and you can't give them Epstein files, whoo boy, that Alex Jones episode going to start to hurt. And it's like, you can only do the whole, like, we're all on team hate Democrats for so long. You'll be able to get away with that for a few days. But you're running that 24/7 right now already on Fox News. Alex Jones, all of them, running it. Fucking every single right-winger running it. Democrats are shutting down the government. Blah, 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 blah. There's not really a hidden story here. It's that Chuck Schumer's like, fuck, I got to do this or I get canceled. And so he's having to do it. But I honestly think that AOC kind of framed it around him. I don't even think that she necessarily wanted this, but by speaking out the last time in April, it made it so that he had to do it this time. And it's the same deal that they kind of did to Joe Biden. You have these big government insiders for forever, Chuck Schumer, and you have these ideologues on the outside that are willing to ice them out and do anything to just get rid of their power. They will eventually get rid of them. Kamala Harris did run for president. Don't forget that. They are slowly getting rid of the institutionalized Democrat. And what they're replacing it with is AOC and Kamala Harris. So it's not really great. So there's that. They need to replace it sooner than they are, because I think that Newsom is a safe in-between. But if Chuck Schumer is still in charge when Newsom's there, this is going to be a tough bet come 2028, whoever it is. So, yeah, there's that. Mondani, listening to some of his speeches, some of his concepts and talk on The View, that man can talk out his ass. I will say that. He is an Obama-style speaker, and New York loves a Obama type. And I think that they will take him. And honestly, look, I think Cuomo is an honest guy that got a bad rap. But at the same time, he made the wrong political decisions during turmoil. He made the decision to shut down New York City. He was not combating the mayor. At one point, they were fighting each other, and Andrew Cuomo was not on the side of opening back up. If anything more, he was on the side of more closures. We opened up the run-through today. He was apologizing to his Jewish brothers and sisters on Yom Kippur for forgiveness for doing that to them and regulating them in that way. It's a weird thing to do that way. It's almost kind of like, if I can get the Hasidics involved, I can pull this thing through. I'm Team Mondani at this point. I'm really am. I'm Team Mondani. I think both Cuomo and Mondani have the same attributes. They both feel honest, feel authentic. on the Democratic side. And why not give Mondani a chance when you already gave Cuomo a chance? And he, while being an honest individual, and I can understand making that mistake, still did make the mistake of putting all those people in the nursing home. So I don't think that we need to move towards that with Cuomo. Also, he looks iller and iller every day, skinnier and skinnier every day. If Andrew Cuomo wins the New York City mayoral race, like, yo, that city might go upside down. Mondani has to win in a landslide, because if Andrew Cuomo wins the Democratic or the independent ticket against the Democratic candidate, it would have been one thing if it was Eric Adams. That could have been you could have seen that outcome. You could have seen an outcome where that happened. But if Andrew Cuomo beats Mondani in this two-man race in November, unless something weird happens, unless something really, really weird happens, all we got to do is just sit through the baseball season. I don't know. Are the New York Yankees out? Because my fucking Red Sox took them apart last night, and they were fighting them again tonight in the wild card. What's the score right now? 3-3, top of the sixth. So we don't know yet if New York's out, but New York might still be in. And if the Yankees are in, especially if they go down the line throughout the fall, dude, Chicago, New York, those cities during the fall, during October, when one of their teams is in the MLB playoffs, it's an eruption. It is insane. I have been in both, and it is insane. It is a fever that is garnered whenever the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Mets. I think the Mets is even the wildest one. Or the White Sox, that rarely happens, or when the Cubs are there too. Those things, whenever they happen, that's when it starts to get funky up in those cities. And what I'm getting at is that may actually play an integral part of this mayoral race. If the Yankees are in the American League Final, they're both going to have to answer to how they feel about this, who they are for, like if they're a Mets fan or whatever. Which one is Mets and which one's not? Let's see that. What baseball team Cuomo? Don't you love when you're listening to a podcast and you know the answer? Because I know that there's somebody listening that already knows the answer. Two Cuomos. Former governor of baseball. Favorite baseball team, Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo has historically supported the New York Mets and the Yankees. A controversial stance for a New Yorker. But he also grew up near Shea Stadium, Mets' former home. The dual allies. Okay. All right. He's a Mets fan. Cuomo's a Mets fan. We don't have to worry about him making comments about the Yankees if they continue. But how about this Mondani fella? Has he even said anything about baseball? Favorite baseball team, Mondani. No prominent figure named Mondani is publicly known. Oh, I spelled his name wrong. Okay. That'd have been funny. Mom, Danny, Mom and Danny, Mama Danny. Sounds much more Indian than it does, Muslim. Is a fan of the New York Mets. Wow. Well, all right, Mr. Cuomo. You said you're a fan of both. If the Yankees somehow pull through here and become part of a fucking World Series or something, like a week before your election, and you're sitting there at the Yankee Stadium being like, I'm a Yankees head, and Mondani got nothing to do because he's a Mets guy and they didn't even make the playoffs. Good work. Good work. Anyway, let's go through the rundown of the news today. Number one, top story of the day. The U.S. government shuts down. No shit. Oh my God, the government shut down. Oh my God, the government shut down. The U.S. government officially has shut down at midnight after Senate lawmakers failed to pass a fundamental bill. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers face furloughs with both Republicans and so a furlough, by the way, that is literally when you continue to work, but you just don't get paid. With both Republicans and Democrats blaming each other for the impasse. Also, very interesting. Lawmakers still get paid during the shutdown. So maybe we should change that one little bit and maybe they'll figure their shit out. Democrats blaming each other for the impasse, which centers on disagreements over healthcare funding. Yeah, it always was going to, and it's going to take a full 7-week gap of the government shutdown potentially, or maybe we get it earlier. We'll see. If we get it in the next 5 to 7 days, I really highly doubt it's because Chuck Schumer caved. And if we get it then without Chuck Schumer caving, to Chuck Schumer. But that might have been the idea from the get-go, was to make it look like he's the buffoon either way. He's the buffoon in April when he signs the CR. He's the buffoon when he says no. That way AOC, the younger crowd, can step in and they can Joe Biden his ass away. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mr. Schumer. All right, what else do we got in the news today? Well, there was a major quake. I didn't know that because apparently government shutdown is the only thing that anybody gives a shit about in America. Major earthquake aftershocks in the Philippines. A powerful 6.9 magnitude. Oh, that's not that big. Magnitude earthquake struck the province of Cebu in the central Philippines, killing at least 69 people. 69. And injuring more than 150. No, that's sad. Hundreds of aftershocks are now rattling the region, compounding the disaster. See, this is the problem, is that like people think that they should go and move to Thailand and the Philippines and the fucking Indonesia and shit, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be really cheap, and then boom, fucking earthquake. Got what you deserve. If you're an islander, I feel easy saying got what you deserve too, because I feel like most of those 69 are probably foreigners that were on like a visa and they were in a hotel. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say all of them were, including the 150 that were injured. All of them, including the injuries, are all white people on vacation, because all of the people that are from there, they would know how to escape the earthquake. So, earthquake in the Philippines. Remember that, people. People died, and we only give a shit about Chuck Schumer and what he's saying. Bigger story: Israel, Gaza tensions high as ceasefire deadline looms. Okay. Is there a deadline? Is there a deadline? Can somebody tell me, is there an actual deadline here? Because I'm pretty sure that deadline has not been stated. It was all just a vague idea by Donald Trump and Prime Minister Israel. This is what the breakdown says. Israel continues its bombardment of Gaza, killing dozens of Palestinians in the last 24 hours. Sites 3, 6, 7. Okay, so there's 3 sources there on that. Meanwhile, President Trump has given Hamas a 3 or 4 day, quote, deadline to respond to the possible ceasefire deal. Yes, he did say 3 or 4 days. I don't know, but they got to hurry it up. They're still attacking them while this is happening. I mean, I have the same idea as Trump, where it's like, just go in, do the thing, no apologies. Later we can apologize. That's what you're supposed to do. It's the Hiroshima way. The Hiroshima way. The American Hiroshima way is to annihilate your opponent and then turn around and go, oops, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Did I do that? Did I do that? Is fucking Steve Urkel a nuclear bomb? All right. Defense Secretary announces controversial military reforms. In an unprecedented meeting with top military brass, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth unveiled the sweeping changes to military culture and standards. These include new higher physical fitness standards for all troops and an attack on DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives. It was an anti-woke speech. It probably needed to happen. It needed to happen. It wasn't there. Look, it wasn't like they had Randy Savage come out with fucking sparklers and they Turning Point USA this shit. They had an anti-woke meeting, okay? Donald Trump still went up there and did a political speech for an hour, but they didn't say anything because NPR told them not to clap anymore or something. Oh, some controversy about that. They're not allowed to clap or whatever. Well, anyway, the whole fucking deal with this is that basically they need to be not fat. And I agree. The people that are fighting for me to pay taxes and be safe in this apartment, and that there aren't like alalas or a booga booga boogas or whatever the fuck's coming at me or trying to invade my actual home. The only way for that to be protected is to have people that are not as fat and out of shape as me doing that job. So yeah, I hate corporate America. I think that we should have more things be like this, where it's like anti-corporation fucking shit, where they're like, we don't give a shit. We're gonna fucking haze you if we want to haze you. That might come back to bite them. When you go anti-corporation and you're a corporation, you're the government. I mean, you're the government. That's the thing. They're the government. The government is different than a corporation. The government can get away with even more than a corporation because the government can just go, and we're the government. That's what the Hiroshima effect is. It's the, and we're the government. That was a weird, I think that was like kind of Asian Mexican. I don't know. I'm not very good with the accents. I should stop doing them. Hiroshima. But with that said, boom, 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 annihilation, explosion, explosion. What was that story again? Oh, this whole military fucking thing. Yeah, they're ramping up. I like the idea behind the Department of War. We have already understood that the military-industrial complex is a real thing. So if we idolize and roll through war the same way as these other countries do, where you do the parades, you pay for all the shit, you just build up a bigger and bigger military-industrial complex, while also not really being engaged in any kind of high-velocity combat, that's much better than our approach of like, we don't do any of those things, and then just like exploding everybody with like a fucking Nerf like drone or some shit. So I like that idea of just being like, everybody go to this parade. You all have to be skinny. You all have to march this way. You all have to shave your beards. You all have to be not women. And if you're going to be a woman, better cut those tits off and better jump just as high as a guy. So that is the reason they did that. And I like that. But it will come back to bite them because they had in there that they wouldn't haze anybody, okay? Or that they could start hazing again. They were like, there was restrictions on hazing that were placed into effect. They're like, get rid of that woke shit. Bring back the hazing. When somebody dies from government hazing, I mean, it's the government. So again, they can just Hiroshima it away. They can just go, well, we're the government. Sorry. But for the most part, most likely, this is actually going to be a situation like a corporation, and like with a corporation, that employee is going to now sue because they were hazed. So they're leaning a little hard on the woke stuff. I don't know how much of it is actually like legal and not, whatever, or not. Never would have been in the military to begin with. Definitely not signing up now. There was a time during Obama and growing up that it was kind of like this whole thing where it's like, oh, you can just get all this candy and money and you just get a shitty job and get to eat popcorn and Cheetos and chips and do whatever. The idea that the military is actually the military and that you should join if you want to be in the military, probably a good thing. Probably a good thing overall. And our last story of the day, Chernobyl lost power. 1, didn't know Chernobyl was actually active still. 2, what? How is this not the biggest story of the day? Chernobyl's power plant lost power. Ukraine's officials declared an emergency situation at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant after it lost external power due to a Russian drone strike on an energy facility in a nearby town. It is only a matter of fucking days before these white mofos from Russia and fucking Ukraine, these Slavs, blow each other up and ruin the world for the rest of us. We need to stop their war immediately. White people cannot fight white people. It is a bad thing. They're just going to end up ruining the world. We're all worried about this Israel-Palestine thing. They've been fighting for like 3,000 years. They're good. Ukraine, Russia, they're the same people. Don't let them explode each other. This is a civil war. This could get real ugly. I don't think people are understanding. Like, pay attention to where the conflict's at. And when it's a fucking Ukraine thing at a Chernobyl, that's bad. Nobody should be shooting at Chernobyl. That's bad. Russia, that's bad. Ukraine, if you're making this story up as propaganda, that's also bad. Ukraine, if you actually shot it and now you're writing this article as propaganda, that's also bad. They're all bad. Let's stay away from Chernobyl. If you need to understand why, watch the show Chernobyl. And I am upset just as much as you are that it is not in Russian and that it is in English and that they act like they are English people. But there's AI. There's things for that. You can figure it out. Whatever you need to do. But I swear to God, guys, don't ruin the world. I want to have kids someday. So we need to knock it off with this, like, Slavian revolution. The Slavs need to knock it off. Is that even a slur? Is that a slur or not? I don't even know if this is a slur. I feel like I am one. So that can't be slurring, right? It's like the N-word. I can say this one. Slav. Stop the Slav civil war. We need to now before the end of fucking nuclear Armageddon, when we realize when you keep shooting things at Chernobyl and now they're writing articles about how Chernobyl lost power, that's not a good thing for the world. Okay? Everybody over here being like, oh no, they're going to blow up this wall that everybody kisses with and they wear this little tiny hat. No one cares. Oh no, they're going to shoot each other in the sand for eternity. No one cares. Oh no, they're going to destroy where Jesus was. They already did that. We don't even know where it was at. It was somewhere in Afghanistan. They already did that. Oh, well, history and like fucking, like Egypt's in charge of Egypt, which Joe Rogan has exposed as corrupt as fucking liberal. And then everyone else is like a Saudi prince thing. Like, so what are we doing? None of this is a problem. What's a problem is the nuclear facility that the Slav civil war, the Russian-Ukrainian war, the white people fighting white people war, they're shooting at the nuclear facility. Somebody is. I don't care who is. Whoever is, though, needs to knock it off. You messed up the power today. That's not good. That's not good for any of us. For any of us in humanity, that's not good to create some sort of Armageddon with your stupid back and forth drone war over fucking rural land that means nothing. Have you seen this Ukrainian Russian land? Every time that they're like fighting over this land and then you see the drone and you're like, what? Somewhere where somebody fucking is going to plant some potatoes? It all looks like Ireland. It all looks like Scotland, like upper fucking England. It's like, and there's so much of it. Just fucking pick some. Just pick some and be done. I'm so done. I swear to God, if we figure out the Middle East and then these motherfuckers, these Ukrainian Russian idiots go and blow up the world with their fucking fighting at the Chernobyl, don't fight at Chernobyl. Stop fighting at Chernobyl. That is so insane. It's so insane that I need a day to process this. This is the end of the episode. Don't shoot at Chernobyl. Just avoid it, please. I'll see you on tomorrow. Like, subscribe, do all the weird shit and all that stuff, and gangsta. What? Ooh.